It's all too easy to fall into the trap of constantly chasing after women. In a society where romantic success is often equated with validation, it's common for men to feel as though their worth is somehow tied to their ability to attract attention, affection, or love from women. For many men, this chase becomes a never-ending cycle that can lead to frustration, anxiety, and a sense of emptiness. But what if there was a way to break free from this pattern? A way to stop chasing after external validation and start building a life grounded in self-worth, virtue, and purpose? The answer lies not in outward pursuits, but in the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that encourages you to focus on what you can control, cultivate your inner strength, and approach relationships with a sense of balance and dignity. In this video, we will explore how Stoicism can help men rethink their approach to relationships and stop chasing after women. Specifically, we will delve into the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, and see how his words of wisdom can inspire you to focus on self-improvement, develop emotional resilience, and ultimately build healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Stoicism isn't about withdrawing from life or rejecting relationships. It's about finding balance, inner peace, and perspective in a world that often encourages us to seek external validation. Why men chase women, the psychology behind it. Before we get into the Stoic perspective on relationships, it's important to understand why so many men feel compelled to chase women in the first place. This behavior is often influenced by a combination of societal conditioning, evolutionary instincts, and personal insecurities. From a young age, many men are taught that their success in life is tied to their ability to attract and win over women. Movies, television shows, social media, and even peer groups often glamorize the idea of the man who relentlessly pursues women, does whatever it takes to win their affection, and is rewarded with love and attention. In many cases, this idealized version of romance becomes a source of pressure and anxiety, as men feel like they need to constantly perform in order to prove their worth. On a deeper level, this desire to chase women can also be linked to evolutionary psychology. From an evolutionary standpoint, men are often driven to seek out women as a way of ensuring their legacy and reproducing. In this context, the pursuit of women is seen as a biological imperative, tied to the instinctual desire to pass on one's genes. However, while this instinct may have served a practical purpose in the past, it's no longer the primary driving force behind our relationships today. The modern world requires a shift in how we approach relationships, one that values emotional connection, respect, and mutual growth over mere attraction and conquest. But the question remains, is this chase ultimately fulfilling? Does it lead to happiness and deeper connection? And more importantly, is there a better way to approach relationships that doesn't involve constant pursuit, desperation, or insecurity? The Stoic path. Focus on what you can control. This is where Stoicism comes in. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control and let go of the things we cannot change. According to Marcus Aurelius, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In other words, we cannot control the actions, emotions, or affections of others, but we can control how we respond to them. This concept is revolutionary because it shifts the focus away from external circumstances and back onto the individual. Instead of obsessing over how to get someone's attention, we are encouraged to focus on developing our own character, integrity, and emotional resilience. When we chase after women, we are often seeking validation from an external source. The Stoic mindset, however, teaches us to cultivate self-worth from within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Instead of relying on external approval, Stoicism teaches us that true contentment comes from cultivating a positive and virtuous mindset. By focusing on our own growth and personal development, we naturally attract people who value us for who we are, rather than what we can offer them in the form of validation or attention. Self-improvement, the key to attracting the right partner. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the idea of self-improvement. Instead of spending your energy on chasing external rewards, Stoicism encourages you to invest in your own growth. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This means that rather than constantly seeking to impress or chase after women, you should focus on becoming the best version of yourself. This doesn't mean trying to be perfect or obsessing over your flaws. It means cultivating the qualities that make you a man of integrity, wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. As you work on improving yourself, you will naturally begin to attract people who appreciate you for your character, not just your ability to perform or pursue them. This isn't just about superficial charm or physical appearance. True attraction comes from within. When you become a man of virtue and wisdom, you become magnetic. Your confidence is not based on what others think of you, but on your own sense of self-worth. By focusing on your own self-improvement, you create an aura of strength and emotional resilience that is far more attractive than any pursuit or chase. Self-control and emotional resilience, the Stoic approach to desires. Another key aspect of Stoicism is the practice of self-control. The Stoics believe that our emotions, if left unchecked, can lead us down a destructive path. In the context of relationships, this means recognizing that we must manage our desires and impulses in a way that doesn't interfere with our personal well-being or our interactions with others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This means that instead of reacting impulsively to our desires or frustrations, we should practice mindfulness and emotional discipline. When it comes to relationships, self-control is critical. Chasing women often involves letting our desires run rampant, leading to impulsive decisions, desperate actions, and sometimes even disrespectful behavior. Stoicism teaches us to pause, reflect, and act from a place of rationality rather than emotional reactivity. By practicing self-control, we create emotional stability and prevent ourselves from falling into the trap of desperation or attachment. Respecting autonomy, a Stoic's perspective on boundaries. In any healthy relationship, respect for autonomy is crucial. Stoicism encourages us to respect the individuality and personal boundaries of others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything is right for me which is right for you, O universe." This reminder helps us see that we are all part of a larger, interconnected whole, and that respecting others' autonomy is key to maintaining balance in relationships. When we chase women, we often overlook their autonomy and treat them as objects to be won. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to approach others with respect, acknowledging their right to make their own choices. When we respect others' boundaries and their right to choose freely, we build relationships based on mutual understanding and respect. This leads to deeper, more meaningful connections, where both partners can grow and thrive without the pressure of one-sided pursuit. Patience and perspective, building meaningful relationships. Patience is another important Stoic virtue, particularly when it comes to relationships. In a world of instant gratification and fast-paced dating, it can be tempting to rush into relationships or force connections that may not be right for us. But Stoicism teaches us to practice patience and allow time to reveal the true nature of a relationship. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." This wisdom reminds us that instead of rushing into relationships or forcing connections, we should allow time to reveal who truly aligns with our values and who genuinely brings out the best in us. Rejection, a Stoic's approach to heartbreak. Rejection is a difficult but inevitable part of dating. Many men fear rejection because it threatens their sense of self-worth. However, Stoicism offers a unique perspective on rejection. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." This means that instead of taking rejection personally or allowing it to crush our confidence, we should see it as part of the natural ebb and flow of life. Rejection doesn't diminish our value as a person. It's simply a reflection of the other person's preferences and choices, not our worth. By practicing Stoicism, we learn to detach our sense of self-worth from external validation and instead find strength in our ability to cope with life's challenges, including rejection. The Stoic path to healthy, fulfilling relationships. Ultimately, Stoicism teaches us that true happiness and fulfillment come from within. By focusing on virtue, self-improvement, self-control, and respect for others, we can create meaningful, lasting relationships based on mutual understanding and growth. Rather than chasing after fleeting desires or external validation, we can cultivate a deep sense of contentment and emotional resilience. As Marcus Aurelius said, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking, so stop chasing after women. Instead, focus on becoming the best version of yourself, someone who attracts respect, love, and meaningful connection naturally. By following the Stoic path, you can create a life filled with purpose, emotional balance, and fulfilling relationships that are grounded in virtue and authenticity. The focus is on using Stoic philosophy to transform the way men approach relationships, particularly the common tendency to chase after women in an exhausting and often desperate manner. The video presents Stoicism, particularly the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, as a way to cultivate inner peace, emotional control, and self-improvement, which ultimately lead to healthier, more respectful, and fulfilling relationships. The traditional societal narrative of the relentless hunter pursuing women is questioned, and the video encourages men to stop seeking external validation and instead focus on their own personal growth. The video begins by addressing the psychology behind why many men feel compelled to chase women, pointing out societal pressures, evolutionary instincts, and insecurities. It discusses how the relentless pursuit of women can damage self-esteem, lead to strained relationships, and often leave desires unfulfilled. The Stoic approach is introduced as a counter to this, emphasizing the importance of accepting the natural course of events and focusing on what is within our control. By examining the core teachings of Marcus Aurelius, the video encourages men to seek inner strength and resilience rather than chasing external approval. It underscores the significance of virtue in relationships, advocating for the cultivation of wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline, qualities that not only improve a person's character but also make them more attractive to potential partners. Instead of pursuing women with desperation, Stoicism teaches men to focus on becoming the best versions of themselves. Self-control is another key aspect of Stoic teachings highlighted in the video. Marcus Aurelius' writing on controlling one's mind and emotions is applied to relationships, where men are urged to refrain from impulsive behavior or neediness. The video stresses the importance of respecting the autonomy and individuality of others, including women, and not trying to manipulate or change them to fit personal desires. Patience is also emphasized, with the video explaining that relationships require time and should not be rushed. It highlights that rejection, though often painful, is a natural part of life and should be reframed as an opportunity for growth, rather than as a reflection of one's self-worth. The Stoic perspective encourages men to detach their happiness from external outcomes and instead focus on the present moment, gratitude, and building meaningful, authentic connections. Practical steps are also provided for implementing Stoic teachings into one's life, including self-reflection, self-improvement, patience, and emotional control. The video concludes by explaining how these Stoic principles not only help avoid the unhealthy pursuit of women, but can also shape successful long-term relationships. Virtue, self-control, respect for autonomy, emotional stability, and mutual growth are key ingredients for a fulfilling partnership that transcends superficial desires. Ultimately, the video reinforces that true happiness and lasting relationships come from within, and by living a life guided by Stoic wisdom, men can foster relationships that are based on mutual respect, understanding, and a shared commitment to self-improvement.